Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everyone? It is I, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all star advisor, Alonzo Hall. And I'm here this morning just to speak really briefly. I'm not going to do too much. I'll probably be going for like 10 minutes just because I'm not feeling all that great this morning. And I got to get back into my routine of things. But I wanted to just come live and do a little bit of wiping of ass because, working in progress every day. You see success. So that's what we're here doing. Um, I will be going on again later today to actually drop some, well, not on, but I'll be dropping some pre-recorded stuff. And you can always look for that about that life insurance and financial podcast with me and Talani. I'll have a snippet of the second episode probably posted in the next few days. I just got to finish editing and so on and so forth. But some interesting things have been happening. There's been a lot of breakthroughs. We got folks bickering and arguing back and forth. And then we got folks who decided to put bickering and arguing back and forth to the side because here in this space, we have brotherhoods. And part of this brotherhood is for us to speak to each other, disagree, have our disagreements and gripes, put those to the side, come back to the table, and realize that we have more work to do. So that's what we're doing here. And, I've been, in terms of like economics and stuff, there's been a lot of people who have been realizing that, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, man, you can't have political change without money. So while we're screaming rock the vote, our vote won't matter until our dollars are in those political action committees. How do we put our dollars in those political action committees? Well, we have to have those dollars. Well, you saw from my last CAAFP showing that in order to have those dollars, you have to do something to increase your capital. Once you got that capital, right, the dollar used to circulate in the black community for 3 years. Today, the dollar circulates in the black community for 6 hours. So the dollar doesn't even have a full-time job in the black community. The dollar isn't gainfully employed in the black community. The next closest community to us is the Hispanic Latinx community. And their dollar circulates for about 2 weeks, about 12 days. Right? Then we look at the next community, which would be the Jewish community. And their dollar circulates for about 21 days. And then lastly, the Asian community. It circulates between 28 and 42 days. So let's just say on the low end, the dollar circulates in the Asian community for 1 month. The dollar circulates in the black community for less than an 8-hour shift. So again, the dollar in the black community does not have a full-time job. It doesn't work for 8 hours a day. We're sitting here talking about Black Lives Matter. They can't matter until we have economics. We're sitting here talking about Black Lives Matter, economics, and Dogecoin. When I showed you documents that showed $6 billion in the stock market and $19 billion in cash value life insurance from just one bank. I keep selling myself short, calling it million, but it's billion because banks operate in the billions. So they put $6 billion in the stock market and $19 billion into cash value life insurance. Meanwhile, we diminish life insurance. Meanwhile, I've been going through these spaces, especially with black folks, and having to hear people who don't have any of the credentials that I have, haven't taken any of the schooling that I have, and say, I'm in wealth management. I'm self taught. Right. Kind of like how Dr. Sebi was a doctor. Oops, it wasn't. Or like Dr. Dre is a doctor. Right? No. Now, Dr. Dre, he does get surgical on his symposiums making beats, but he's not a doctor. So if he were to then turn around and say, well, I'm Dr. Dre, I'm self taught, I got $1 billion from making music, I'm going to go into medicine. Come see me, Dr. Dre. I got the beat to make you healthy. You sick? We just gonna go bling, 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 and you healthy. Yeah, that would make people diminish actual doctors. They'd be like, this motherfucker don't know what he's doing. But this is what people do. I'm a financial professional and have no licenses. I was just watching my man JT the Pocket Watcher last night, and he was watching Polite and Jay Morrison. It's funny, I know some people who are legit financial professionals who those guys hand their money to. I'm talking to the tunes of millions. One of the banks that Polite uses is Wells Fargo. And he was actually on one of his YouTube lives, and he showed us his account with $12 million. Now, I'm not talking about this alleged whatever. I'm talking about the money. I don't want to get into criminal whatever. That stuff is what it is. But yeah, make sure you hit a like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. But like I said, this one's going to be short today. I'm basically just dropping some signs for the About That Life podcast. And then we're going to do war stories. So I'm going to be trading war stories with other professionals and about other professionals. Because sometimes, in this industry, you deal with people who are supposed to be licensed professionals like you, and they don't quite act accordingly. And I've got a lot of stories of those too. I'm sure you guys would love to hear. It's just so funny. I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. I've got some articles coming for y'all. I actually got some articles coming this week, so we can check that out. I've reached out to some other content creators. Some have replied, some haven't. I'll be honest, I am doing this, to get attention, but not particularly. If you guys have ever heard of Selfie Taylor, he's a $1 million round table producer, life insurance agent. He doesn't really about the second income stream of YouTube, but, it's a great way to reach people. As the budgetnista for Black American women, apparently the females are familiar with the budgetnista. So, men, I'm going to need y'all to get familiar with the All-Star Advisor. The budgetnista, Tiffany Alicia, has hundreds of thousands of followers. 98% of her following is African American females. This woman is a financial professional like me. This Black man leads me to believe that we do have some issues, because I speak to Black men often. And it ain't like I'm just talking anecdotal evidence. This is thousands of people over the course of 10 years. See, there's a reason I'm an MDRT producer. My goal is to ask at least 100 people a day, do you want to buy life insurance? And yeah, for the most part, I get rejected a lot. But imagine when I'm asking 100 people a day, especially in New York City, when there's 9 million people at any given time in Manhattan. Do you want life insurance? Do you want life insurance? You can imagine, seeing as I'm an African American male, I pay attention to those who look like me, who may have gone through a walk of life like me and getting shot, or all the other pitfalls that are against Black men. And then we say things like, I'm the king, I'm the boss, and then we don't even get proper life insurance coverage. It's kind of disheartening. But we got some Dogecoin. Oh yeah, I got me some Dogecoin. Dogecoin is 49 cents. I told y'all to get it when it was 17 cents. You're gonna be rich. Nigga, you made $5,000 over 3 years. I know people who I've spoken to about it, and they be like, man, I've been doing this since 2017. I ain't no rookie. And I'm like, bro, I was working on the actual Wall Street since 2011. I could actually go grab the brass bull by the balls, where you motherfuckers go as tourists, and there's an HSBC bank across from the brass bull, and 11 Broadway and 39 Broadway, where I was an actual stockbroker, Series 7 securities license holder. And had to see copious amounts of cocaine in the lead drawers because that's what you do as a stockbroker. You get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're in the office at 7 a.m., you're on the phones at 8 a.m., and you're begging for money till closing bell. You don't leave after closing bell, which is 5 o'clock, well, 4:30. No. You stay till about 9 p.m. and you call to the West Coast. Those are the guys who made the big money because they didn't bother the East Coast. They bothered the Midwest and the West Coast later in the day. Because remember, when it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast, it's 6 p.m. on the West Coast. But anyway, I was just here for a short time. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be around too long, so I figured I'd hop up today. Ladies and gentlemen, white ass work in progress every day and see success. White ass work in progress every day and see success. White ass work in progress every day and see success. And lastly, remember, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.